I'm Mary Daly Brown, the president of SowHope.org. SowHope is an organization dedicated to inspiring impoverished women around the world by promoting wellness, education, and economic opportunities. We are in our 16th year here at SowHope, and we have funded projects in 23 developing nations. These projects have impacted over 110,000 women. You can learn more about us by going to SowHope.org. We're excited to be back online with everyone to celebrate International Women's Day, a century-old global day that celebrates the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women, one that marks a call to action for accelerating gender parity. It is important for us to hold an event on this day every year, March 8th, given the incredible role of women around the world. We want to be sure to celebrate them, but also remind people that there is still such incredible inequality, especially in the impoverished areas of the world where SowHope works to inspire and empower women who live on less than $3 a day. SowHope partners with people who have a history of helping women. We visit and vet people who are recommended to us by trusted friends. Some of our partners are leaders of large nonprofit organizations with dedicated programs to help impoverished women. Some are grassroots activists helping the best way they can with the little they have. Some are local pastors who are doing their level best to help as many people as possible and who have a heart to see women lifted from the mire of oppression. This year, I thought it would be interesting to hear from some of our partners who are men. I highly respect all of them, so we decided to call this event A Few Good Men. We will do a panel discussion and they will tell you what they think about International Women's Day, how they celebrate it in their country, and why they think it's important. So gentlemen, let's start out by stating your names and telling us what country you're from.
Hello everybody, I am Isaac. I am Ugandan by nationality. I am one of the partners for SowHope.
My name is Bassem. I'm from Egypt, live in Cairo, the capital of Egypt.
Yes, my name is Victor Amissi. I'm from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Thanks everyone for being here today. Now, Isaac, we've partnered together for over 10 years now. During that time, you've done dozens of projects to help women. You've done microloans, farming, literacy. You oversaw and managed the building of a beautiful maternal health clinic. You and your wife are both health workers and self-supported. You do all these projects voluntarily. You've impacted over 7,000 beneficiaries through your projects funded by SowHope. Thanks. Bassem, we've partnered with you for over 10 years. You are the general director of a large nonprofit. Tell us what projects SowHope has funded for you to help women.
First, literacy classes, because most of the women in the villages are dropped off from the education, maybe 2 or 3 years just in their school and then drop off. So we give them literacy class as the most important component. Then a vocational training courses, 3 vocations in each school, the hairdressing for themselves and for their relatives and neighbors, cooking to give them to eat healthy food, and sewing machine to use it for earn their living or to help their children and their daughters and this. So this is the 3 vocation training. The third component is awareness seminars. It's lots of very important topics like don't let your husband beat you, how to live in dignity, about how to be a guide or a leader in your home. Some topics like this. Awareness seminars includes some healthy topics, how to clean your body, how to take care of yourself if you are pregnant, how to help your babies in first months for them, something about disease, the local disease like hepatitis C and kidney failures. It's very common. They drink not always clean water. So also parallel with this awareness seminars, to take care about their health. If they have some of these disease, kidney failure or hepatitis C, we can bring them medicine or send them to hospitals. If it is small, very small villages, we can send them if the village is no hospital in it. And take care about them and about their health. The last component is microloans to give them opportunity to have their own projects to earn their living.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bassem. That was a great summary. Now, Victor, you also have a full-time job that supports you while you volunteer to help people in DRC. You're also very active at the UN, making speeches about the effects of armed violence on women and children. We've been there together.
More than 20,000 people were here yesterday to celebrate International Women's Day. It's a holiday here.
Would you share a little bit about what you do to help women in the Congo, those projects that are funded by SowHope?
Yeah, we are helping women who are survivors from war and armed violence. We help them to reintegrate the society after having raped and to be victim of everything coming from armed group. So we try to help them, to empower them for their integration in society, economically and socially. We give them training and support, like medical support, and also to try to give them some income activities to support them, like livestock in agriculture, and also try to give them some psychological support, any support they need when they're coming from what they have been to be victim.
That's great. Now, as you know, we're helping to celebrate International Women's Day. And I'd like to know, how is International Women's Day celebrated in your country?
Yes, as I can say, in Democratic Republic of Congo, in every year, like in March 8th, we celebrate the International Women's Day. And before the event of war, 1996, there was not too much talk about that event. But when the war became has known, and the massive violence perpetrated against women and children has challenged civil society and politicians to say they can join other countries to celebrate that day. So it's an opportunity to recognize the women's rights, which have been overlooked due to culture, tradition, and circumstances of conflict. Also, this is the time to denounce this situation. That's why, to mark these days, the government proclaims that days as a special day. They prepare everything with members of civil society, and also the population prepare for these days in their own way, in different activities. Some companies, associations, departments, they can buy clothes to women. And also at the end of the day, they have a reception. You can see women with banners on that day. They can write the message for International Women's Day during the parade in the city. Also, depending on the circumstances, you can see women, they can send a message to the authorities and international community. If they can hear them, they can hear their message. For example, in DRC, you can see women denounce a lot of violence against women and demand more action to end discrimination and also the absence in public services. In other places, like in the villages, you can see women, they can go out with friends share meals together, they celebrate. And the thing which is like more interesting, you can see also even the little girls, they can also wear women's clothes, even at school, on the streets, and everywhere you can see the sign of that day. So everybody can see this is a celebration of International Women's Day.
Thanks, Victor. Isaac, what about you? How is International Women's Day celebrated in Uganda?
How we celebrate International Women's Day in our country. It's a day that is highly publicized on television, on media, print, and electronic. It's advocated for by local leaders and technical people at lower levels. So it's a highly celebrated day. People have parades, people have commemorations at district level. They go and celebrate the day. It's a very, very big day that is usually celebrated, especially by women, with emphasis on ensuring that they are empowered, they prevent things about mitigation of domestic violence, ensuring the livelihoods of women. So many things are done on that day in line with celebration of International Women's Day.
Thanks, Isaac. Basim, how is International Women's Day celebrated in Egypt?
Actually, I never heard about the International Women's Day, but we have a different day here, the Mother's Day.
Okay.
We have a Mother's Day on the 21st of March every year. You know, according to Arabs' culture, the mother's value is very high. I'm sorry to say, but not the women value, but the mother's value is very high. And this is maybe relatively to the religious, the culture religious. They raise the value of mother more than women. I'm not sure that you catch my point, but I can't say more than this.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I didn't realize that about Egypt. That's an interesting point.
It's the area. It's our area, MENA region. It's our area. They value the mother's impact, but not the women.
Well, that is kind of what it's like here in the States. One of the reasons we are celebrating International Women's Day is to bring awareness of the inequality of women. So it's important to share this all around the world, including Egypt. Looks like you can be the one to start it there. Okay, let's find out how men that do celebrate International Women's Day think of it. Isaac, how do you celebrate?
By sending messages of gratitude, by posting them on social media status, by giving them little gifts of little money, around $5 to $10 through mobile money if they are very far away from me. That's what I usually do.
Victor, do you think it's important to celebrate International Women's Day?
Oh yeah, it's very important to celebrate that day. Because this is a day.
What do you personally do as a man? What do you do on that day?
Okay, like me, myself, I celebrate that day in two ways. As a husband and also as a father. Mm. I can give like a gift to my girls in the house, my daughters, to my wife. And as a human rights activist, what I do is like all the time I can design a poster and prepare a text to talk about human rights, women's rights, or to advocate for the promotion of their rights. So I use social media Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp. And when I go to the church, sometimes the church, they organize, we share flowers to give to the women, to the church.
Okay.
And like me, I say, since my mother, she's not there, I used to look for a woman in our community, the one who can receive that flower in place of my mother.
Oh, wow.
In my head, that if she was here, she will get it, you see? Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's great. Would you each take a minute and comment how things are for women in your country or in your viewpoint?
My thoughts about women is all about equal treatment of a woman. A woman is born equally as a man. So I would not like to see the inequality that is sometimes prevailing and curtails the women's aspirations. So I'm thinking that a woman can equally do what a man does, and surprisingly, some of the women excel more than men in certain fields. So I am of the view that a woman should not always be underrated. A woman should not be underrated. Women, majority of the women in Africa have a lot of challenges. They have a lot of challenges, and challenges are always inclined to our culture, and the culture that has always been there, that a woman should always be inferior to a man. But I don't think that could be. So going forward, I would assume that as we plan globally, let the woman be treated equally like a man, to ensure that they all have equal opportunities of prospering.
Yes, as you know, in my country, it's women who support the family. She's mainstay of the family. Unfortunately, it's felt like it's catastrophic. For a long time, she always be like behind. She's a victim on traditional system, culture, discrimination, of mistreatment. And that from the early age, she can be a little girl and she can be a victim of that situation. And it has been be more than that since the war began in 1996. Women and children have been the first victim to pay the heavy price. Sexual violence, humiliation, murder, mutilation, and rape by armed groups. But all the time, effort have been made to try to make awareness international level about violation of women's rights, and also people like civil society try to advocate for the end of that violence against women and gender-based violence. This is why you have, they used to call the Congo like the capital of rape. It's really shameful to call the country like that. But right now, situation begin to change because there is like a mobilization of the government, military, and police. They are working together to work hard to remove Congo from the blacklist of like countries violating sexual violence. They are working hardly. Civil society try to work in empowering women, in entrepreneurship and seeking like representation of women in the political level.
Okay.
We work hard in like peace, women, and security to transform women victims of sexual violence and gender-based violence into actors for development and peace in the country.
Yeah.
That's why we used to emphasize, like on the resolution on 1325 of the Security Council for the United Nations, which speak that the participation of women in all process in when used in peace process in the country. And I know they still work to change the situation in Congo.
Okay.
Great. And you
Great.
can see also they try to be together. They have understood that they have the right to fight, and we as a man, we have to be there to help them, so no one can be left behind. And I know that there is still hope.
Thank you. That's great. Great comments. Bassem, would you share how women suffer in Egypt?
How women suffer, I think there is there is kind of suffering because she is she not takes her rights as a man. I think it's all over the world. Most of the stories I hear around the world that women are not take their rights as a man, while in some first world countries, even the president is woman. While in Egypt we have ministers, women, and we have governor women, and we have some good opportunities for women, but it is not the usual situation. It is not. So I feel it's kind of suffering that they are not taking their rights as men takes their rights.
Okay. Are there any last thoughts on International Women's Day?
How I feel about celebrating International Women's Day? I feel it's worth a day celebrating, not necessarily as me personally, but the society at large. It's worth celebrating because it continues to raise awareness, to fight for the plight of women, and aspire to ensure that women, the girl child, and other women in societal positions have equal privileges, rights, and aspirations as it would be or as it is for the boy child. So it continues to be a day worth celebrating. I personally honor this day because it will continue to foster the fighting for the women's rights and the well-being. So International Women's Day is quite an important day for the world at large.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say about International Women's Day?
I know the International Women's Day it's a special day. Like it's like officially I share my feelings, my admiration of that culture of God has created, because she's the first person to show me the world, to feed me, to teach me everything. So she has a special mention. I appreciate everything she has done to me. So she couldn't even laugh when I cried. She couldn't sleep when I was sick. Even the mosquito couldn't even bite me since she's there. And I don't know to whom I can give the reward I have. She gave me everything But even she was like the food I can eat with no salt or no oil, but it was more succulent than the meat I can eat right now. The advice she gave me is more than the lesson I received at school. So beside that, if she was like alive, I would propose even her name to be like a Minister of Education. Because one of all the time when it's like my anniversary of my birthday, I think of her because as she's like an architect of my existence. Well, she's absent, so I owe her a lot of during that day. And what I can say again is like all the time when I see a woman, I respect her like my mother. And all the time when I see like a girl, I protect her like my daughters. This is why I have dedicated my life as a human rights activist for the protection of women and to promote their rights.
That's beautiful. That was a beautiful tribute to your mother too, Victor. That's wonderful. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I believe we have reached the end of the panel discussion, and I really want to thank all of you for participating. It has been enlightening to hear what a few good men have to say about International Women's Day.
Thank you very much to give me this opportunity. You are one of the great partner with us, and thanks for SowHope, and bless you and continue this great work.
Thanks again, and we'll see you all next year on March 8th to celebrate International Women's Day.